incredible body cam video shows what police did to save a man's life. Hello and welcome to City Source. I'm Thomas Gandy. That story is coming up, but we begin today with a new location for people to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And this one is closer to home. Irving and Grand Prairie are teaming up to offer a site for vaccinations. We were there as some of the first people arrived to get their vaccines. It is not for walk-ups. People must register and receive a confirmed appointment time. Before it opened, we got a first look inside the center.
We have them here at 7:30 in the morning.
Leaders are working through final details as Grand Prairie and Irving prepare to open a free COVID-19 vaccination site at the theater at Grand Prairie.
One of the most important things that we can do as a city is to help ensure the safety and welfare of our residents. And this is our effort here in the city of Irving, in cooperation with the city of Grand Prairie, to help begin providing the important vaccines to our residents.
The sooner we get everyone vaccinated, the sooner we'll be able to get back to our normal lives.
We are going to show you every step of how this site works. But first, anyone wanting a vaccine must register. The most common option for that is going to dallascounty.org/COVID-19 and click through to the form. The county will then get back to you with date, time, and location. Crews will only allow people with appointments into the parking lot. Next,
You will come up inside the facility and then you're met at the door by a greeter who then directs you over to one of the 5 registration tables where they check over your paperwork and ensure everything is filled out the way it's supposed to.
then people sit in a socially distanced waiting area.
We'll have a spotter here that will notify an individual in the waiting area once the table is open. So they'll tell you to proceed to, for instance, table 1. So at table 1, you're going to have either Grand Prairie or Irving Fire Department paramedic on site that will be administering the vaccine, as well as a scribe. They fill out your CDC card with your lot number, the date of the vaccine, and any pertinent information that's then given to you after you receive the vaccine. It's a very quick, efficient process. Most people are at these tables less than 2 or 3 minutes.
This is the final step. People wait here for 15 or 30 minutes? Why is that?
Absolutely. So once you receive your vaccine, you're directed over to the observation area. The chances are highly unlikely, but there is a very small percentage of individuals that have different reactions to any sort of vaccine that they receive.
This center will operate on a limited schedule at first because there is a very limited supply of vaccine.
But we are at the mercy of the state and the feds as when they're shipping those to us.
Our goal now is to get as many vaccines from the state and the county as we can.
If you're a patient coming here to get a vaccine,
Irving and Grand Prairie are working to get the state to designate this location as a vaccination hub. That will lead to an increased and guaranteed number of vaccines.
We really think we can do safely 700 to 1,000 once we're really efficient with our operation.
For now, in advance of the opening, they are going over the process
that's our way of keeping track of who's next in line.
and working to make sure people get accurate information. Have you had the vaccine?
I have.
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that experience, because a lot of people have questions about it.
It was a fairly easy process, just like getting your annual flu shot. The only side effect I had was a sore arm for about 2 days.
Other than a little fatigue, nothing really. And the second dose, about the same.
It's important for all of us to understand that this is something that's going to be a part of our lives for a long time. And we need to figure out how we're going to deal with it. And one of the ways we're going to deal with it is through the vaccines.
People need to get the vaccine. That's the only way we're going to beat this.
The cities of Irving and Grand Prairie have worked together in the past, and now they are building on that relationship in the interest of public health.
So I just thank you, the city of Irving, Irving's EMS. This is going to be great for our citizens.
Working together here with your team and our team, this is going to be a great success.
This vaccination site in Grand Prairie is expected to remain open for months. There is more to know about this. The vaccine is only available to groups 1A and 1B right now. That includes healthcare workers and people over 65 with certain medical conditions. Also, because vaccines are provided through the state, the Dallas County judge says you can apply in any county in which you feel comfortable driving to. Every county should take your application. Also, there is a new vaccine registration hotline for Dallas County. The phone number is 1-855-466-8639. That's 1-855-IMMUNE-9. The hotline is open every day from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And as I mentioned in the story, online registration is available at dallascounty.org/COVID-19. Coming up later, we'll hear from a New Jersey teen who is part of a big special COVID memorial now on display in Irving. We have some remarkable police video to share with you. A man's routine morning jog took a scary turn. He collapsed on the concrete and hit his head. We pick up the story as the first officer responded.
Hello. I just called the
Okay.
Caught on police body camera.
Yeah, he complained about like chest and then he was walking around.
Sir, are you okay?
Irving police officer Daniel Wilson responds after a man fell to the concrete and seriously injured his head.
As I approached him, I saw lots of blood coming from his forehead. That's when I turned around and grabbed my medical kit with gauze and bandages.
Ramna.
All right, back up. While I was doing that, I realized that he was not responding to anything. Officer Edwards then arrived.
You want to check for a pulse? And there's no pulse, no breathing, and he was kind of gurgling, gasping for air, which is a sign that isn't good.
6-2, we got no pulse. What happened here next would lead to this moment 2 months later.
These officers will be awarded the Lifesaving Bar.
Police Chief Jeff Spivey honored the officers during a quarterly ceremony at the police department.
Officer Edwards and Officer Wilson checked the mail for a pulse, which they were unable to locate.
The body cam picks up what happened next. They started CPR.
Officer Edwards then moved from his left side to his head to support his airway, and then I began chest compressions. IFD arrived, and they relieved me from chest compressions, and they went straight into the ambulance into the hospital.
That CPR made the difference. Turns out the man had suffered a massive heart attack.
It's apparent that the actions of both officers resulted in the ultimate outcome of saving the man from imminent death.
But you don't have to take the chief's word for it. Romana Chiracuro is here to tell his own story, having beaten the odds for survival and speed of recovery.
God has given me second chance through all these people, and I'll be thankful to them for the rest of my life.
When we got to meet him, we didn't expect him to be standing up, let alone walking up. As soon as we walked in the front door, he stood up off the couch and came and greeted us. I think the best part was to see how close his family was and just how grateful they were.
Whatever they give back to the community is a lot more than just a job.
Now he can tell the story of that morning. The fit 47-year-old was running a 10K around Ranchview High School as he did every week.
I have no health conditions, no health issues, absolutely. I'm very careful about my diet. I don't smoke, I don't drink. It just came from nowhere. I woke up 3 days later in the hospital.
There, doctors inserted a stent in his heart. He looks back now with gratitude and faith because he says too many things lined up to be simply coincidence.
The lady who was just standing next to me when I fell, who usually is never in the parking lot, that day she happened to be there right there when I fell. She called 911. The police officers were around to come in and take action.
How we've impacted his life is amazing feeling for me.
Now, Romana Chiracuro is looking ahead to how he may pay it forward.
Once I recover fully, I plan to go to CPR classes myself and be ready whenever a situation arises.
But on this day, they are happy to be able to share a remarkable ending to this story that many thought would not turn out this way.
The direct impact in somebody's life of saving that, you don't get many chances like that in life at all.
We have a lot more police news on our YouTube channel. Look for the Irving Police Department playlist at youtube.com/the City of Irving. Residents interested in becoming a candidate for City Council can pick up a packet at City Hall or access those packets online at cityofirving.org/162. Here are the seats on the ballot this year. Places 4 and 6 are single-member districts. Candidates must have lived in their respective district for at least 12 months prior to Election Day. Place 8 is an at-large position, and candidates may reside anywhere within the city. Here are the dates to keep in mind. The filing period continues through February 12th. Early voting runs April 19th through 27th. Election Day is May 1st. The City Secretary's office can answer election questions. That number is 972-721-2493. In several stories over the past few years, we have shared the story of retired Army Major Eric King.
Welcome home.
The City of Irving and other partners provided a mortgage-free home to him through Operation Finally Home. That charity provides homes to veterans who have often struggled. Major King has always been candid about what he endured after his years of service.
There was a time that life almost came to an end for me just outside of combat. At one point I did feel like there was nothing else left for me.
Now, through his nonprofit, he is drawing attention to the needs of veterans with an upcoming special event. And he joins us now. Major King, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Thomas, thank you for having me here this morning. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. And tell us what's going to be happening on February 13th.
Absolutely, man. I am so excited to share with you all that on February the 13th, 12 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, Vets What's Next will be having its first annual suicide prevention walk, run-a-thon. And I encourage all of you to join us virtually. You can just tap right in through our Zoom link. You can run on your treadmill. You can get outside and walk or run, whatever you want to do to be able to join us. It's going to be very, very great, and we're doing it for a very, very great cause and meaning.
And of course, there's meaning behind all of the numbers in this event. First, there is a reason why it is on the 13th. Tell us about that.
Well, on February 13th, 2005, took me a long time to be able to share this, but I had to be able to share this and speak because it's bigger than just me. But again, February 13th, 2005 is when I had experienced an IED blast attack in Iraq during a mission. And that attack led me to having post-traumatic stress disorder, a traumatic brain injury with residuals of a seizure disorder. Also led me to a point where I wanted to take my own life, as I tried to take my life. But it was because of my son, Eric, who saved my life that allowed me to be here today. I also experienced a very good best friend of mine, Captain Howard Wade, who suffered from PTSD. I had the pleasure of serving alongside him in combat. But PTSD led him to taking his life. And this run that we're having is to honor him and so many other veterans who have taken their lives due to PTSD and other mental illnesses.
And an important cause that is also portrayed through this other number. We see it on your sweatshirt, number 22.
So it's reported that 22 veterans are taking their lives each and every day. And with the pandemic, it doesn't make it any better. And what we want to do with Vets What's Next, we want to bring that number down from 22 to preferably the number 0, because every veteran life is valued, every veteran life is loved, and we have to show them that they are loved and valued. And that's why we're running for 22 minutes and 22 seconds. It's to bring awareness to this beast that I call suicide, that's taking our veterans' lives each and every day. So we're just asking 22 minutes and 22 seconds of your time to come out and join us for this great cause.
Along with that time of running, you're also looking for sponsors for the walk and run-a-thon. What is the biggest unmet need you see among veterans that you can help with?
With us being able to join and partner with sponsors that can bring about funding, it will help our veterans that are homeless. It will help our veterans that are in treatment facilities receiving the great treatment that they need so they can too live a good life. So I ask all of you, join Vets What's Next, partner with us, become a sponsor, become an ambassador. There's a big mission. Join this journey, we can save lives. And I'm depending on you to help us.
And I'm guessing a lot of people who serve want to maintain that persona of strength. I mean, it's what you trained for. So how do you balance that when it is time for a veteran to ask for help?
Thomas, it's very hard to balance it. Every day is a transition out of the military. You don't just transition out of the military and then 30, 60 days later you can live a normal life. It doesn't work that easy. I've been out of the military now since 2016, and I am still right now today transitioning. So we are looked at as being strong, to be able to provide and do the things that us soldiers are built and trained to do. But we all at times fall weak, not because we are weak as a person, because we're suffering with PTSD. We're suffering from other ailments that cause us to, I would say for me, go into a dark space. So it is hard to balance that, but we just have to lean on those that wants to help us. And I'm also leaning on you all to help us as well.
And I want to ask you, of course, we got so much response to our stories with you as you got that mortgage-free home through Operation Finally Home in the city of Irving. So tell me, how is it in your new home and living in the city of Irving?
Well, the home is great. My family and I, we're enjoying it every day. And we still even pinch ourselves as we're going into 2 years of being in our home. So it's great. It's great to be a citizen of Irving. And it is because of Operation Finally Home, the Dallas Builders Association, Winston Custom Home, the city of Irving, and all those who partnered with Operation Finally Home to put me and my family to a mortgage-free home that has allowed me to want to give back. It has also prompted me to even start my nonprofit organization, Vets What's Next, because I do know veterans who go through some very bad and difficult times, once we receive that help, it kind of pushes us to want to give back and continue to help those veterans who are struggling like myself.
Major Eric King, thanks so much for being here today.
Hey, thank you, Thomas, for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. This virtual walk and runathon is Saturday, February 13th at noon. A pre-show starts at 11:30. To donate or learn more, visit vetswhatsnext.org. In other news, reps from the Irving Independent School District are visiting families at home as part of a home visit blitz. It is a response to the unusual challenges created by the pandemic. The district makes a list of students who are not showing up for school either in person or online. Then the campus operations team visits the home to basically see what's up. In some cases, it may be as simple as solving an internet connectivity issue. Other times, the teams find that a family had electricity cut off or may be dealing with a food shortage. The district reports that the visits are making a big difference. Teams made 700 visits in a month, and 84% of students returned to school. Also from the district, trained Nimitz High School students are again offering free help with income tax preparation. A few years back, we showed you how the popular program worked when people could meet in person. It is open to anyone with income below $72,000. This year, the program is through email instead of in person. Send questions to bmanali@irvingisd.net. You see the spelling there on the screen. The team promises responses within 24 hours. And there is another tax help program through the Heritage Senior Center. Volunteers trained by the IRS and AARP will provide tax preparation services by appointment. Call 972-721-2496 during business hours to schedule a time. This program is designed to help people with incomes less than $60,000, seniors, the disabled, and the military. You have more time to see a moving tribute designed to draw attention to lives lost during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Yellow Heart Memorial is being extended. It will be on display through March 1st at the Jack D. Huffman Community Building. In an earlier story, we met some of the local team behind it, and now we are meeting the artist. Hannah Ernst is 16 years old and from New Jersey. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having me.
Tell me how you got started creating these portraits.
So if I'm being totally honest, it was a freak accident, quite honestly. I had just gotten an iPad and my mom came home and she was just really upset by the fact that people are so callous towards the numbers. And so I decided that I should try and change that. And so I ended up making my grandpa's memorial and that took off. And since then, it's just been snowballing.
As we mentioned, you are in New Jersey. So what did you think when you found out that people wanted to display your work here in Irving, Texas?
That was outstanding. I mean, there's no other way to say it. To know that my artwork that I just did in my living room is just getting featured across the country. I mean, it's really far away. I mean, it was just incredible to know.
Yeah, and what kind of response have you gotten to this display in Irving?
It's just been amazing. I mean, the amount of support and love and appreciation people have towards what I'm doing and what Rosie's put together, it's just unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Tell me about the traffic to your Facebook page after people started learning about this.
It's been crazy, quite honestly. I mean, I'm in school still, so that's definitely top priority. But I mean, I would say at least now we have at least 200 people waiting in our, I guess, requests list. And so it's definitely been a lot, but I'm more than happy to try and get to as many as I can.
Yeah, you mentioned 200 waiting. And how many of these portraits have you made so far?
I have done 800 memorials, so that's like established. And then a lot of them also have 2 people to 3 people, depending on how many family members have been lost per family. So I would say, although there's 800 posts, I've definitely done at least 900 memorials.
And it is interesting to look at your Facebook site, and we'll put it up on the screen. Not only do you show the pictures, but you get a story about each victim. What do you hope people get out of seeing this art and reading the stories?
I'm hoping that I can create some sort of visual impact. I mean, that's one of the motivating factors towards what I do. Unfortunately, a lot of people just see the numbers, they only hear the statistics of it. And so it takes away from the humanity and the realization that these numbers are people. You know, these people had plans for the future, they had plans for tomorrow. And so I'm hoping that in creating a sea of yellow, which is the symbol of COVID-19, maybe I can impact somebody enough so that they can save a life by wearing a mask.
And what about the impact on you? You're 16 years old and confronting this heavy, tragic issue head on. How do you cope?
It's a lot, to be totally honest. I mean, I try to look on the bright side and knowing that I am differentiating the person from the numbers that everyone's gotten used to, but it can be hard. I try to look on the positives of it, that I am helping a family cope and I'm remembering someone that's been lost. But there are times when I'll be reading a story and it kind of hits you because, these people had lives, they had loved ones, and like I said, they had family members and plans, and unfortunately that was taken away from them.
You mentioned going nationwide with this. What is next for you and this project?
Honestly, I'm hoping to get some sort of established memorial, a permanent memorial somewhere where we can just recognize the ones that we've lost and hope that their names are not forgotten. And I'm hoping that somewhere along that line, my grandpa can be distinguished among everyone else. And I can create some sort of, like I said, national memorial where our loved ones are not forgotten and they're not just numbers.
And of course, after watching this, and certainly after seeing the memorial in person, some people may be wondering, how do you request one of these portraits?
Yeah, it's actually really simple. So we have a Facebook page, Faces of COVID Victims. You can go check it out. All you have to do is shoot us a message, and from there, we'll just say that we need the full name, the description of your person, so who they were as a person, a photograph, and their age. And from there, you'll get put on the list, and we'll message you when it's done.
Hannah Ernst, thank you so much for being with us and for all of the good work you're doing on this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, the Yellow Heart Memorial is on display through March 1st at the Jack D. Huffman Community Building. Enter through the doors facing Rock Island Road. The Irving Heritage Society is going forward with its annual Vintage Valentine Tea as a virtual event. Organizers say you might call it a quarantine. The program will feature music and the announcement of the Sweetheart of the Year. The tea is on Sunday, February 14th at 2 p.m. RSVP to Irving Heritage Society at yahoo.com or call 972-252-3838 to get the Zoom link. Attendees are encouraged to wear costumes, hats, gloves, or simply something red to help set the spirit of the celebration. The next Household Chemical Collection Day is coming up. It is on Saturday, February 27th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Briary Municipal Compound. The drop-off is free, but participants must first request a voucher through Solid Waste Services. That number is 972-721-2332. Specially trained dogs are making incredible impacts in the lives of Texans and people in this entire region of the country, and it is all because of the work happening right here in Irving. We are continuing our series of interviews talking about the pandemic's impact on nonprofits, and Courtney Craig from Canine Companions for Independence is our guest. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I can't wait to meet the friend you brought with you. But first, because of the pandemic, it has been a while since I've been able to share some stories directly from the campus. So for the benefit of new viewers or new residents to Irving, what is Canine Companions for Independence?
Yeah, Canine Companions is a national nonprofit organization that provides expertly trained service dogs to children, adults, and veterans with disabilities completely free of charge.
And now tell us who is with you today.
This is Willa Dean. She is one of our dogs in professional training. So she is still in her training process, but hopefully will finish up and become a service dog for someone with a disability someday.
You shared some adorable video with us of some dogs arriving at Dallas Love Field. Fill us in on what's happening in this video.
Absolutely. So the video that you saw of the puppies arriving in DFW was actually something new that we've done over the last year. Typically, Canine Companions sends our puppies via commercial flights at 8 weeks old to get to their volunteer puppy raisers across the country and start their training. When those commercial flights started being limited due to the coronavirus pandemic, we started to look for different ways that we could still continue our mission and be able to get those puppies out. And we had private pilots and private planes step up and donate their services and their talents to us to be able to transport those puppies as needed all across the country so that they could start their journey.
Of course, all of that underscores that your work is still going forward during this pandemic, but what has changed?
Yeah, a lot of things have changed and shifted. We've been fortunate to be able to find new ways to do a few different things and continue our mission. So in addition to using those private pilots, we've also had a lot of events go virtual. We've had our puppy classes for our puppy raisers who are raising these dogs for us also go virtual. So all those classes are happening online. And then we've also fortunately been able to still continue to place our dogs with our clients but that also looks a little bit different. So we've made the class size quite a bit smaller and more frequent with a shorter time frame that they're with us in person. But luckily, like I said, still being able to place them and provide them free of charge.
Yeah, and you know, I've been to several of the graduation ceremonies to see people receive their trained dogs. It's always so emotional to hear those stories. And those stories also serve to get the word out, right, about what you do. So how are you able to continue to spread the message and do outreach?
Absolutely. So as with many, we've gone virtual for a lot of different things. We've been lucky we didn't have to cancel any of our events. So all of our larger fundraising events went virtual and still were very successful. We were able to raise funds and hopefully reach new volunteers and supporters in the area. We also have a wonderful community of volunteers who helped us find new and different ways to continue doing outreach and spread our mission.
What are your biggest needs right now?
We're always in need of volunteers and supporters. It is because of our volunteers and our donors that we're able to provide these dogs who are worth about $50,000 completely free of charge. A big part of our volunteering is puppy raising. So we're always looking for puppy raisers, which are wonderful volunteers who take in our dogs at just 8 weeks old and raise them and train them for about 1.5 years to build a solid foundation for them to hopefully become service dogs someday.
And of course, I know you remember Ritter. He is at work throughout the pandemic at Irving's Family Advocacy Center. It's got to make you happy to see the success stories, especially here in the home city of Irving.
Absolutely, yes. There's a lot of pieces that go into the Canine Companions mission, and really seeing it all come together and seeing these dogs get placed with an individual with a disability or a facility that's serving different communities is really what it's all about. Getting to see these dogs go from just small little 8-week-old puppies to successful working dogs that are changing the lives of one or many is really, really incredible to see.
Courtney Craig, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having us.
And here's a look at what's coming up next time on City Source. The city has an initiative underway to improve drainage. You're looking at some of the work underway on the Brockbank Channel, and we'll talk about the full campaign ahead called Drainage Solutions for a Better Tomorrow. And we have shown you some of this construction underway at the West Park Playground. Now it is complete. We're going to take a look at some of the features. Remember, you can always email us your thoughts on our stories. The address is ictn@cityofirving.org, and find us on YouTube. Our channel is at youtube.com/thecityofirving. Subscribe and you can get notifications when we upload new videos. And that's it for this edition of City Source. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.